Welcome to Athletes Lives Network. Today we're sitting here with Gary Patterson, standout basketball player, Bishop Noel Institute, IUPUI, and Butler University. How you doing, Gary?
I'm doing pretty good.
Basically, man, got a lot of questions about just, your childhood days, growing up in East Chicago, your high school days, Bishop Noel, the college days, and then currently what you're doing right now. The first question is basically give us some information on growing up in the city, East Chicago.
I grew up in New Edition. I went to Washington Elementary, then I went to West Side. I grew up in New Edition, right across the street from a basketball court, and I guess that's pretty much where it started. Lived right across the street from the swimming pool, basketball court right next to it. And just growing up, man, I just always played basketball. I really didn't play any other sports. I messed with baseball when I was little, but my brother really put the ball in my hand, and from then on, man, that's all I wanted to do.
So your brother, his name is who?
Michael Gillis. He passed away in '97. Rest in peace to him. But yeah, that's what put the ball in my hand.
Okay. Now, growing up, as you say, Chicago, went to Washington Elementary. Did you have any competition during that time in basketball?
Yeah, it's always competition, man. Like I said, I've been playing since I was real little. I can't even remember when I started. And then at Washington there, I started playing like really organized. I want to say like in the 5th grade. My competition really was like Melvin Brown. We went to Lincoln. Kerry Gosh always had a good team, but just individually it was probably Melvin because we came up at the same time and we were kind of tapped to be those two players that were going to end up being really good at Central. So it was probably Melvin. And yeah, that was probably my biggest competition.
Okay. Well, as you know, as I know as well, growing up in a family heavily involved in sports, did you feel pressured to play sports, or was it kind of an open, free opportunity for you?
I never felt pressured. My brother really wanted me to play. He played at Hammond High. He played ball. He coached, during the summer leagues and stuff like that. So, everybody knew him from playing ball, street stuff or whatever. But, he put a little pressure on me to play. But once he really put it in my hand, and I seen, that I could be good if I work hard. I just wanted to do it myself. As far as my parents go, man, they never put pressure on me. And that's one of the biggest things I'm thankful for because they really made it a point to make me love the game. And they knew if I love the game, then I would want to work hard. And when you love something, man, and you work hard at it, it's really no pressure to it because that's what you practice all the time. What's the pressure when you know you can make a shot because you'd have made it 100 times, you know what I mean? So I never felt pressure growing up.
Gotcha. Now let's go into your high school days. Like I said, you grew up in East Chicago. I'm sure you had plans on attending Powerhouse East Chicago Central, but something changed. Kind of going to play with that.
All right. Well, I'll backtrack you for a second and lead you up to that.
Okay.
When I was in elementary, me and Melvin, like I was telling you, we were always a part of the East Chicago program. We would go on different trips, man, with the varsity when I was in the 6th grade. They would take me to Kentucky with them. It was kind of like a grooming thing I think Coach Miles was doing with me, even more so than Melvin. I would always be with him because he felt like I would be his point guard at some point. Then I got to West Side. I kept progressing. Sometimes, you be really good young and then you don't keep progressing. But, just kept working hard, man, and my game kept developing. And, I was supposed to go to Central. The tough thing was, my whole 8th grade year, man, everybody asked me where I was going to school. And that's like the biggest pressure I probably ever felt because, people had heard that I might go to Bishop Noel or I might not be going to Central. Because coming out of the 8th grade, man, West Side, Maryville, Hammond High, and really Bishop Noel, they all were really trying to get me to go to their schools, and telling me I could play varsity as a freshman. So that was a lot of pressure. And it really boiled down to I was actually enrolled at Central. I laugh to this day because a couple of my friends still called me and was like they was calling out my name and roll call on the first day of school. But really what ended up happening, man, is I got the opportunity to play with Kenny and Melvin over the summer with the AAU team. And really if Melvin didn't go to Bishop Noel with me, I probably wouldn't have went. I would have been at Central. But we talked about it and what would be best, for us for the future as far as academically and all, and still being able to win. Kenny is 6'10", he was about 250 pounds at that time as a center. I was a point guard, Melvin was a 2. It's a great nucleus. To me, it's a no-brainer. To people in Chicago, I know they felt like, I kind of disrespect them. And I understand that, man. I understand that wholeheartedly. Sometimes I still think about, what if I would have went. Just as far as playing, I probably could have been not a legend, but they would have looked at me a little bit different because even though I'm respected sometimes, just that you went to Bishop Noel. And like I say, I don't blame you at all. I understand, and sometimes, like I said, I do wish I would have went, but I really don't regret it. You just think about it sometimes.
Okay. For the diehard Central fans, as you just said, a lot of them were disappointed because they felt like you could have been that piece to kind of get them over the hump. Then you have the other fans who are hard critics that felt like maybe you were scared of the competition
Right.
of going to Central. Kind of give me your opinion on that.
Definitely. And I understand that too. That's like hating. That's what everybody call it, and that's what I call it because anybody in East Chicago, whoever played against me, they know I never been scared, and ain't nobody really in Chicago who can really say they got the best of me. I take pride in that. I don't play as much now, but I still take pride in that every time I get on the court. So, and I'll really tell you in detail what happened is people who really know the situation. They have what they call summer camp for basketball varsity, and you get 2 weeks to practice with the team. So going into my freshman year, I was on East Chicago Central summer team. I practiced. Me and Johnny Ryan was the starting guards. Now, there was a lot of people who didn't like that either. That team had like Johnny Ryan, Lil B, Keon Jackson, I think, was on the team. And, they ended up winning semi-state that year or going to semi-state that year. So it was supposed to be a really good team. And they all know I was going to start on that team. It was, it was already said. Me and Miles had countless discussions. Me and Johnny Ryan, he's still a close friend. We talk about it all the time because he was a little mad that I ain't go play with him too. So as far as that competition, everybody who know me and was around at that time while I was playing, they know no other guards coming around that I couldn't deal with, and I felt like that as well. So it was never a situation where I was scared of competition. At Bishop Noel, we still played everybody. I got a chance to play Central, the West Sides, the Roosevelts, the Hammer High. I played against everybody in the summer or whatever, so I was never afraid of competition.
Okay. You kind of touched on regrets, but kind of give me the reason why you regret, or if you truly regret, not going to Central.
Really, it comes down to Coach Miles, man, and he might not even know this to this day, but, me and Coach Miles was real close. I went to Nike camp with him and watched Corey Stokes when Stokes was going into his senior year. He introduced me as his protege. I met from Tubby Smith to Mike Jarvis, who's at St. John's. I met all the coaches, and he was pretty much telling me, this is going to be the next great player from the region. And I played on AAU teams in Alabama. I played with DJ White, and that's when I was in the 8th grade, and that was really courtesy of Coach Miles, and I really do appreciate that. And that's the one thing I regret, not the fans or whatever, because fans can be, fly by night, man. One day they love you, the next day they hate you. So it's not really about that. It's about the people who took the time out with me, and tried to groom me for that moment. But at the same time, just in coaching, as in life, as in jobs, you got to do what's best for yourself. And a lot of people don't really realize that. And I felt I made a good decision for me. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people still get mad at me to this day about it. But it's really just, Coach Miles that really took a lot of time. And then Coach Fabian, too. I won't leave him out. But those two guys took a lot of time with me, man. And sometimes I think about that, like it was kind of a slap in the face to them. And I do understand, with them being upset about it.
Okay. Now you decided to go to Bishop Noel Institute, a good school, great education. Now kind of explain to us about your first 3 years at Bishop Noel playing basketball and also being a student there.
It was different, man. I grew up in East Chicago public school system. I went to, like I say, Washington Hill. I went to West Side, so all my friends were still in East Chicago. The one thing that kind of helped, Melvin, he did go to school with me. So it was two of us. It just wasn't me. But I went there, I kind of got adjusted pretty quick. I knew the coach. I knew a lot of people. And one of the things other people might not know too, we had a buzz, man. I had never played a high school game, but in October, when they do the preseason preview for the region, me and Kenny Harris, who I spoke about earlier, we were on the front page of the sports section, and then the title was Young and Fearless. And for me, that boosts my confidence, but at the same time, it let me know that it's here and it's time to go. So that was leading into my freshman year. So we already had kind of a bullseye on our back. He was a sophomore, I was a freshman along with Melvin, and we already had hype around us. That was my first year, went pretty good. We won sectionals actually, and we had a really good year. We were like 18-5, and we were really young. So the next year, everybody was expecting us to do great things. I averaged about 12 points. I started every game as a freshman, and we had a couple players from overseas. One, the Million Borvik, he passed away, but he was a really good player too. So we had a real well-rounded team, and that just led us into my sophomore year. Going to my sophomore year, we were really excited about what we can do, and we figured we would win state this year. This was our year. And we got out to a really good start. We were about 21-5 for the whole season. Kenny had a monster year. I averaged about 13 points a game. So I was on my way to another all-area season. I was all-area as a freshman, all-area as a sophomore. One of the best guards in the state at that point, so my confidence was building. And then I had a chance to go to the Nike camp as well, the freshman Nike camp, which is supposedly the best players in the country, from freshmen to sophomores, and you all go to St. Louis. So I had the opportunity to play in that as well, which also was a confidence booster. We get to our sophomore year, like I said, we were 21-5, but we end up losing in the regional championship game, a game we weren't really supposed to lose either.
How did it make you feel?
Man, it made me feel real bad because honestly, I felt like I didn't bring it. And what I mean by that is I just wasn't aggressive enough, man. Sometimes I let other people take shots, and I just wouldn't really go out there and play like I knew I could play. I was really trying to be a point guard. And the thing about that year, which was different, I had an assistant coach, Eddie Furyk. He had came, and it was his first year with Bishop Noel, and he would just tell me stuff all the time like, you need to be more aggressive, you're a better scorer than you're showing, and people don't really understand that. So it made me just really want to work hard and win the state championship. That's why I went there, to win the state championship, get a good education, all included, but I really wanted to win. And the way you shut up critics, as you asked me about those before, is you win. And if I wouldn't have went to semi-state as a freshman, and let me backtrack, I did say regional, but we went to semi-state, and it was the same year that Central did. But thinking back on it, if they would have went to semi-state and I didn't, I would have heard it forever. They would have said, we don't need him anyway, he isn't that good. But just the fact that I was a freshman and led my team to semi-state, and then the semi-state game I had like 18, you really can't say too much about it. But fast forward to that, my sophomore year, not reaching semi-state, it left a bitter taste in my mouth. Like I said, I just wanted to work really hard, man. And we get to the summer, and Kenny Harris transfers. So that's a big blow to me, and I'm talking to my assistant coach about it, the one who's like really behind me, Eddie Furyk, and he's like, well, you're just going to have a lot more on your shoulders. You and Melvin, you can be just a great backcourt tandem. Then our head coach, Adam Paytai, he leaves as well. And I had played AAU for him in the summer. Leading up to Bishop Noel, I played for him for 2 years. He had trusted me with the ball. I was just point guard, and then he leaves. Then Melvin Brown, out of nowhere, transfers on me too. Now that's my man. He's half of the reason why I went to Bishop Noel. So, I was kind of depressed that year, just as the standpoint of everybody who started with me, our whole starting five, man, I was the only one returning as a junior. And when you used to winning, we won a regional. We went back to a regional. We won about 40 games in my first 2 years. You expect to win. And then with Kenny being a senior and I'm going into my junior year, we're really thinking, we'll win state, easy, and then everybody transfers. So it's a big blow to me, man. And on top of that, to add insult to injury, I break my hand in AAU. So I'm out about 6 weeks during the summer, which is the period of time when college coaches can really see you. You're even getting your skills even better because you're playing against the best in the country. So I missed that time as well. But the thing that really kept me going, my parents, and they're deeply rooted in faith. So, had me trusting in God and talking to me constantly about it. But my assistant coach, we worked really hard, man, just to get my jump shot better and just to get me better all around. Because he wanted me to show everybody that I could be a total player. And he really helped me to that. So in my junior year, I came out, and my first game we played Morton, and I'll never forget it because, we're going out and the starting lineups said, and right before the game, he said, it's your time now. And I took that to heart. Like I said, I averaged 13 points as a sophomore. My first game, I had 28 against Morton. So it was just like a big difference. And we went about 500 that season, and that was tough too. But it was a brand new team with freshmen and sophomores, and I was a junior as the leader. I had a great season. I ended up averaging about 25 points a game, but that's not what I'm about. I'm about winning. And when we didn't win, I just wanted to work even harder going into my senior year.